Yo people, welcome back to my channel. It's Tapping Tobes here and we're back with another preview. Last time I was here, it was my brother that I was chatting to. After that, Spurs had an embarrassing 2-0 defeat. This time around, I'm joined by Lawless, the guy I love to hate. Yeah. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man.
Yeah?
I'm doing good. Hopefully we're looking at another embarrassing 2-0 defeat after this, but
Embarrassing? Okay.
we'll see. But no, it's crazy to be back around here. I practically grew up around here in my teens, early 20s, so...
Yeah, you must have hated it then.
No, it was, being surrounded by all this scum, you know.
No, I meant you must have hated being surrounded by a team that's so clearly better than your team.
No, when I said scum, I didn't mean the people. I meant the scum of the Spurs stadium and the fans.
Yeah, but I'm saying you must have hated being around a team that was so clearly better than your team.
Well, there weren't any real success or trophies going around, so I
You
didn't
talking
really feel it.
A West Ham fan talking to me about trophies. The only trophy you've won in my lifetime is
Why do you do
the
this?
second tier playoff.
Why do you do
competition?
This? Why is it every time I talk about Spurs,
second tier playoff? You couldn't even win the league.
Why do you
couldn't
always
even
have to
win
do
the
that?
second tier league. You had to go playoff route twice.
We're talking about Tottenham.
Twice.
You always have to. You say how
Twice.
we compare ourselves to you. I never
Twice.
mentioned West Ham.
Twice.
I'm just saying.
You brought up trophies, so I got triggered. But listen.
Triggered Tobes.
Yeah, you could call me that, but either way, we're here to talk about the big game coming up this weekend. Right on this ground, as you can see, people are abseiling. Boy, if results don't go the way I want it to on Sunday, I'm going to be chucking a few people off the south stand. But
got to make that money how they make it, you know.
Listen,
Jeez, they're trying to get the transfer window.
Abseiling, stadium tours,
Cheese rooms.
Lady Gaga, Beyonce. Listen, we got to make our money by any means necessary. But as I said, we're here to talk about Spurs v West Ham, so let's actually get serious now, man. The head-to-head record here has been sketchy at best for Spurs, and it's probably worked out more in your favour than ours. I was looking at the records in the last 5 years: 2 wins against West Ham at home, 1 last season, 1 and obviously the COVID season, right? But then the other matches, 2 draws for you guys, most notably the 3-3 draw, Lanzini. And then a win. I remember the first game we played against you guys here.
Yep.
Antonio, that stupid celebration. That stupid ass celebration, you know. So heading into this fixture, like obviously we go back and forth on Matisse's show with Spurs and West Ham, but like I actually low-key understand why you don't look at this fixture with any fear. Like what are your thoughts ahead of this game?
Yeah, do you know what? I look at it and I just feel like this is a big opportunity to get a big win and really push the team on. Like you said, it's a derby. You know, it's a London derby. We always come here and we turn up. No matter how we're doing in our season, they always say form goes out the window. It's a big cliche. And that's why we look at it and we feel like anything can happen. I'm more confident when you come to our ground. I think it's a bit tougher at your ground, even though like you've just said the stats. But, you know, regardless, I said we needed at least 4 points out of Newcastle, Chelsea, Spurs. We've got 2 so far. We need to win this game, regardless of the opposition. And there's no better team to do it against, you know. And you're in bad form.
Yeah. I can't argue against that, to be honest. We are in bad form, but it's crazy to me because last year we had this same conversation, and I had no doubts whatsoever Spurs were going to beat West Ham. Like I was so confident, and lo and behold, we let our football do the talking. And in my opinion, you were second best from start to finish last season at our ground.
Start to finish.
It was you were second best from start to finish, and you're lucky that it ended 3-1.
We had that big spell, and then you killed the game off.
There was no big spell. You had like a 10 minute spell in the second half, bro. You got a goal against run of play in the first half, yeah. So the point I'm making is this, right? There was an air of confidence this fixture last time round, right? This season, even though on paper we should be beating you guys at home, right? I don't feel the same level of confidence as I did. And I would not be shocked if Spurs drop points here because, simply put, we've dropped too many points against small, medium and big sides, both home and away this season. I mean, I thought we were going to go and do Leicester some serious damage at their ground because of their defence. We get turned over 4-1. All of a sudden, we go from beating Man City 1-0 to at home to losing to Leicester and then losing to AC Milan. So we're back on a poor run of form again. So it's techie, man. But I want to talk about both sides respectively this season, right? Obviously, I've spoken about Spurs, but with West Ham, you've been going at David Moyes all season. Obviously, you've gone at Conte as well with how he's managed. But like West Ham, like it's actually gone wrong. But like, why has it gone so wrong?
I think, like, obviously we spent a load of money. There's no secret there, about 180 million. Bought some quality players in. And really, when I look at it, and this is my real belief, Moyes doesn't really have much of an idea about the players that we were signing. So I don't know if they just scouted him and he just signed off on them. But I look at his comments about Paqueta, comparing him to Dimitri Payet when we signed him, playing him in that number 10 role, expecting 10 assists, 10 goals a season, yeah, when he had never done that in his career. Only now figuring out, let me play him in that number 8 role next to Rice, and it's starting to work.
Yeah.
And when I look at similar Scamacca, again, what are we doing? Barreling down the wings, lumping in crosses like he's Andy Carroll, when we're not playing to his strengths. So you're making these new signings and you're not playing them either in their right positions or playing to their strengths. And that's caused this weird unbalance because he's trying to transition to be this possession-based team from a counter-attacking team. But that's the problem, is the personnel, you're using them incorrectly. So that's what it comes down to. Other players from last season dropped off. Bowen, massively dropped off. Antonio dropped off. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it comes heavily down to the manager. Some of the players have to look at themselves, of course, but decision-based, well, it's mad.
I think we've had this discussion back and forth all season, and I actually think it's both. You can't put blame on the manager without putting blame on the players. But I actually hear where you're coming from, and I think it's crazy. Even though I shit on West Ham constantly, and you lot are the shit on my shoe in my head anyway. I draw a lot of parallels with West Ham and Spurs, man. Obviously on a much lower scale, because you lot are actually, no disrespect, but you guys are actually fighting relegation. We're trying to fight to get Champions League football, and we're still in the FA Cup, etc., etc. But I draw a lot of parallels because I'm looking at two managers who have spent big money in the summer, have signed some big players, and have not found a way to get the best out of their players. And to a certain extent, have ostracized some of the new signings and have just continuously backed players who are out of form. You talk about Bowen being out of form, I can talk about Son being out of form. You talk about Scamacca not being played and used correctly, I can talk about Richarlison not being used correctly. You talk about Paqueta not being used correctly, I can talk about Bissouma not really being given the opportunity, Sarr not being given the opportunity. I think similar to David Moyes, obviously on a lesser scale, I feel like Conte has done a really poor job at Spurs this season. I don't think he's managed the squad well enough, and I think if you look at the brand of football we've played, the results we've picked up, especially in recent months, it's just not been good enough. And it's like, obviously both sides sort of finished last season relatively on a high. Like, obviously you finished 7th last year, but you got to a Europa League semi-final, right? So that's probably one of your best seasons that you've had in my lifetime as a West Ham fan. Let's be real. One of your best. In my lifetime, I was born in 1992, people, right? So one of your best seasons. Right? So, and then when you look at Spurs recovering from the mud that we've been drowning under in the last couple of years, finishing 4th last year, we've just not built on that. Like, we've gone backwards. Antonio Conte, he's got this thing that's really, really sort of like making me lose faith in him as a manager now, where it's like he's given up. I still feel like at least David Moyes he's determined to try and do the best he can for West Ham. Right?
He just don't know how.
He just doesn't know how to. But I feel like Conte knows how to get the best out of Spurs. Again, no disrespect, but he is a much better manager than David Moyes.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And he's not performed like it this season relative to the expectation at Spurs. When you compare Conte to the managers that he's competing with, your Ten Hags, your Artetas, your Pep Guardiolas, he's not been good enough. Right? And I think something needs to give now, right? He's not going to sign a new deal at the end of the season. But we can't just let our season waste away. We still have something to play for. We still can get into the top 4. We still can get further ahead in the FA Cup. We lost 1-0 to Milan, but they didn't kill us at home. We still can get through to the quarterfinals. Like, I don't know. Outside looking in, what's your view on Conte? Like, should we persist with him now until the end of the season, or should we like cut ties with him now, knowing he's not going to sign a new deal, and bring another manager in? And then obviously I want to ask you the same question for David Moyes as well. Like, do you think both clubs should stick or twist here?
Do you know what? I'm looking at it first on Tottenham and Conte. I think you knew that he was a volatile manager.
Yeah.
And if things don't go his way, he can do this. He can be susceptible to, sort of throw these toys out the pram or that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, to me, it just makes sense to stick with him till the end of the season, because really and truly, I don't know what options there are that you can bring in now for a mid-season without any confirmations or guarantees on the future of Harry Kane, Son, what transfer budgets are. I think he's still good at, I can't, even though you're in a poor run of form, I can't see you falling off a cliff and dropping as far out, like out of complete European places. So I would just stick with him, honestly. And I'm at that point where I'm feeling the same way about Moyes, really, because I look at it, now we've left it too late. When I look at some of the other managers that have been picked up elsewhere, and to try and get, like what I want for the new manager is either elite level. If we can't get an elite level, get an up and comer like a company.
But what would you say is elite level for West Ham?
Well,
right
elite is elite.
And
so
don't say Pochettino.
No, because
you're not
but that's
you're not
elite.
getting Pochettino, Lawless.
But no, this is what I'm saying.
Spurs are more likely to get Pochettino than West Ham, and you know it.
Go back. They say never go back.
Listen, I want a fresh start. I want a fresh start, so I don't particularly want Poch back, even though I love him. But he's a safe option for Spurs because you've been there and you've done it, and you know this guy has got great affinity with the club, right? Yeah. So that is a very, very genuine option, especially considering Conte is most likely going to leave at the end of the season. So be realistic.
No, but when I say but this is what I'm saying. If we can't get Poches, Tuchel's, Mancini's, right, they're elite. That's what I'm saying. If we can't get the best of the best, I want an up-and-coming, like a company. Or, I mean, maybe you look at a Carrick and you take a chance on these young, hungry managers with fresh ideas, and you back them and give them a long-term project. Because I'm tired of these same sort of average managers in the middle, the Moises, Benitez. Benitez used to be top class. Now, I don't look at him as levels like that. And I don't want these sort of dinosaur managers now. Football has moved on. I want excitement. So what I'm saying is, if we could get a Mancini or someone, they're not going to come in the middle of relegation battles. So you might as well wait. Yeah. Same way with the young managers. You don't want to get a young manager and bring him in the middle of a relegation battle, right? Yeah. So we might as well stick with him unless we're banging trouble and we're down with no way out, and then you make it and try and bring in, one of those firefight managers to end the season.
Yeah. So. I think. I sort of hear where you're coming from, right? And it's always difficult. It's always difficult, but then you have to sort of balance that out with what you stand to lose, right? I feel like, again, I've said it, not trying to be disrespectful here, but by all accounts, your target at the start of the season was to try and get back into a Europa League spot and maybe even look for top 4.
And
look at a challenge.
Win the conference.
And win the conference, right? Two out of those 3 things are done. You're not getting top 4. You're not getting Europa League football this season. So there is still the Conference League to play for.
Which we could get back into Europa League.
Yeah, you could, exactly. But what I'm saying is, like, if you were to get rid of David Moyes now and move in a different strategy, right, I don't think it would derail your season as much. Because I don't see West Ham getting relegated. I don't. I think your squad has way too much quality to get relegated. I think you will pick up points. Enough points to stay up. With Spurs... With Spurs.
We're talking about how terrible Spurs are.
See? Real one, see? You can't disrespect Spurs around here and get away with it. Yeah, see? But with Tottenham, there's more to play for, right? There's still a lot to play for. And with the way things are going with Conte, it's a toss-up, right? Because he could get things working. He's done it last year. But with the way things are going now, it doesn't look like he's likely to stay, and it almost looks like he's basically coasting and just going through the motions. it's a paycheck, and it leaves Spurs in a vulnerable position. But like you said, also, I don't want to get rid of Conte with no plan B, and I end up with rates Mason football for the rest of the season. Because what the hell is he gonna do? What the hell is he gonna do at the helm? Do you get what I'm saying?
You'll get to the FA Cup semi-final and then sack Conte and then get Mason.
Listen. Anyway, let's get back onto the matter at hand, the game. We're talking key battles, right? Yeah. Give me 2 key areas for you that you feel like West Ham can take advantage of and get a favourable result here.
Look, I have to look at your defence. And this is what it comes down to, really. And to me, it's going to be teams outscoring each other, because I can say the same way if Aguerd ain't fit, our defence. So when I look down on our left-hand side, maybe, you know, for us, that's going to be, I think, vulnerable defensively, our left-hand side. We'll probably have Emerson as a left wing-back, and then Johnson or Creswell as a left centre-back in a 3. So Kulusevski's going to be down that side. Yeah, so he's going to have a lot of joy there. But same way, if we have an Antonio and we have a Bowen going down our right, on your left, who you got on your left at the moment?
We'll have Perisic. He's struggling at the moment.
Yeah, defensively, Perisic, exactly. And then, yeah, your centre-backs right now, obviously, I coined the nickname Pedro Porridge on Matisse's show. We'll see how he's running. Obviously, it was his first game, but Romero is looking shaky. I think Antonio, which some people are saying English to start, I'm starting Antonio, mate.
I mean, Romero's had Antonio in his back pocket both times he's played him.
But Romero right now...
Yeah, he's looking a bit dodgy. He's looking a bit dodgy.
But it's the keeper is the big thing. This game, right, because Lloris is injured, right? He's still out.
He's injured, yeah.
We got Fraser Forster, right? We need to be testing that guy. We need to be putting quick low balls, because he ain't diving for nothing.
Mate,
like, if it's not
slow-mo diving.
Yeah.
Slow-mo diving. But same way you talk about your defence, I'm looking at your team as well, and I think defence as well. I feel like we can get at your defence if Conte sets the attack up in the best way possible to hurt you. I don't want to see Son playing with his back to goal in the middle of the park in Declan Rice and Souček zones. I want to see him further. No, it's the truth. I want to see him further up the pitch where he can inflict damage on the opposition. Get him picking up the ball as close to our goal as possible, because that's where he does his most damage. I know he's playing poorly. To be honest, I would drop Son altogether, but it's not going to happen. So if he's going to use him, you use him further up the pitch. Son was one of our best players when we played you in this fixture last season and iced the game. I see no reason, even though he's playing poorly, I see no reason why he can't do that if given the opportunities to do so when he's bearing down on goal, man. But me personally, I worry about the fact that you guys will do some of what you did at your ground earlier on this season, which is put our defence under pressure when we have the ball, and if you can't get the ball off our defence, you'll just sit deep and give us the ball, and we won't be able to break you down. I'm looking at our attacking performances in the last couple of games. Man City was good, of course, but Fulham, we were really blunt offensively. Leicester, blunt. Milan, blunt. Kulusevski's not playing well. Son out of form. But Conte doesn't want to rotate. Richarlison won't come into the team. Danjuma won't come into the team unless there's 5 minutes left. So I want to see us.
I forgot about Danjuma.
Mate, we've got weapons. This is what I'm saying. We've got weapons. I want to see the manager use those weapons, because, like you said, no matter what, our defence is going to get breached. It's going to get breached. So I want to see him enable our attack in the best way possible. The midfield battle should be interesting, because those 2 young boys, Skip and Sarr, they did really well in the Champions League game, but coming up against Declan Rice, it's a different proposition. Yeah. Coming up against Paqueta, it's a different proposition, right? So it's going to be an interesting battle, man. But I want to end it on this, and I want to get your score prediction. What are you going for this game?
You know what? It's like you said at the start. It kind of has a draw written all over it, and we've been picking up too many draws. But we need to start winning. If Aguerd and Paqueta are both out, man, I have to probably say 2-2. I think there's going to be goals in it, but there has a potential to be a winner on either side. My heart is saying like a 2-1 West Ham, but I just look at I'm looking at it like Aguerd is going to be missing. Rumours saying he could start. And if he plays Souček,
He's a bit of a crock, isn't he, Agred?
well, listen, he's he was out for a while. I don't think it's too early to say crock.
Okay.
If he plays Souček instead of playing Downs or Fornals there, then yeah, I think it's going to be too difficult to get a win. So yeah, I'm going to say 2-2 if I'm being realistic.
Okay, well, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Spurs. I have to back Spurs at home. Last year we won here 3-1. Let's see if we can do this damn thing again. People, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to subscribe to West Ham Fan TV as well, where you find another preview of me and Lawless as well.
I'm going to be grilling him, by the way.
Until then, take care. Peace out and up the Spurs.